Welcome to Jira Bakery. In this session, I'm going to explain what is a Jira scheme. Jira scheme is a collection of configured values that one or more projects can use. Once the significance Once the settings have been made, they can be reused again and again. This saves time and also makes it easier to modify settings for multiple projects in later. In company managed projects, fields are placed on screens. Then screens issues screens, issue types, workflows, and statuses are mapped to schemes that are shared across all the projects in your Jira instance. I know it may sound wordy, but in later point when I'm configuring the screens, when in my later videos, I'm going to show how you can configure the schemes in the Jira instance. At the high level, this is what I'm trying to say. The project has the field configuration scheme, issue type scheme, and workflow scheme. Apart from these three, we do have four more schemes, and I'm going to explain them in later advanced part of our sessions. So each field configuration scheme, we are going to have field configurations, and in the field configurations, we have multiple fields. Likewise, in the issue type screen scheme, you are going to have multiple schemes or only one scheme that's going to share all the screens. In this case, we have two. One is screen scheme for story. The story is the issue type. So in that story screen scheme, we have screen. Under the screen, we have three screens, which is create story screen, edit story screen, and view story scheme. Oh, story screen. Likewise, the bug. Bug also has a screen, and bug has only the create screen in this example. And now the workflow scheme. Each workflow will associate with a screen, and each screen will associate with an issue. And I'm going to explain all in details when I'm configuring the project. Let's go to the configuration screen. We can configure the field configuration scheme. We can configure the fields the way we need. This screen scheme can be used in multiple projects as well. So, the way the behavior of the field, the way we want the behavior of the field that we are going to configure in the configuration field scheme. So, for example, if you want to have the field as a mandatory field on the screen, this is the place where you have to define the field as a mandatory. Or in some cases, the if it is a paragraph, if you need the paragraph to be in a wiki, by default it goes to the standard paragraph with no additional values like adding an attachment or adding a bullet points, etc. So if you need that field to be a wiki style field where you can add an attachment or you can copy paste the screenshot and bullet points or adding tables, etc. So this is the field configuration area where you have to make changes. To get better understanding, please watch the video that I have created, the field renderness video. I'm going to link it in the description section of this video. And now issue type screen scheme. This issue type screen scheme establishes the relationship between the project and the available issue types. Like I mentioned, we have multiple issues. We may have multiple issue types usually. One is story, bug, epic, task, etc. These are the issue types. And also at the same time, you can have the customized designated issue type the way you want according to your business need. So all the issue types are associated with issue type screen scheme. It establishes the relation between the issue types and the screen scheme. For example, so you can have the designated screen scheme for each issue type, like I mentioned earlier. For example, story screen scheme, bug screen scheme, etc. Now, let's move on to the workflow screen scheme. The workflow defines the sequence of steps that can be taken in a project by saying that you have different issue types like story, bug, and a task. So the story issue type may have the workflow steps like to do, evaluation, in progress, and done. These are the workflow steps. Whereas bug may have the different workflow steps like to do, in progress, in QA failed, or done. So these are the different steps for that each issue type. So that's the reason why we are going to have a designated workflow scheme. Under this scheme, we are going to define the workflows based on the business need or based on the issue type and the business need. So these are all the high level information of the workflows. And I know it is going to be confusing. And once you get into the hands on work, you will get a better understanding. And the notification. These are the two schemes that I would like to mention in high level as well. The notification scheme controls who receives what email about changes in Jira issue. Fortunately, we get the pre-packed notification scheme called default notification scheme. Out of the box, we will get this scheme. It will send the notifications or emails to the reporter who reports the issue, assignee who is working on the issue, and also the watchers. For example, in that particular issue, if we include some number of people, those people also will receive the notifications. We can customize this notification scheme, but I highly recommend to copy and make the project specific notification scheme before making any changes. Whereas permission scheme, this is one of the important schemes that we need to pay an additional attention to. So the permission scheme, what it does is that there are certain issue types that only certain group of people should be able to see. So in that scenario, we are going to give the permission to particular issue type to only specific group of people, maybe the confidential information or any HR related. These are the usual issue types that permission scheme comes into the picture. So these are all the advantages of having the schemes. The high level, again, we can, once you configure, we can reuse the schemes across the board in multiple projects. And if you make one change in the scheme, it applies to all the areas where this scheme got used. So it's all the full transparency in your overview of the screen schemes, overview of the Jira schemes. So hope you got some level of understanding by now. And in my later videos, I'm going to explain and I'm going to show you how to configure all these screens. Please watch those videos. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and watch the remaining videos to get the better understanding of Jira schemes. Thank you all.